All right, Dave, now our first Hall of Fame enshrinee. When Lute Olson came to the University of Arizona, the team was coming off a 4-24 season. But for the man they call Cool Hand Lute, it didn't take long to turn things around. By his second year, Arizona was in the NCAA tournament. Since then, he's taken them to 18 in a row, along with 9 Pac-10 titles and a national championship. Along the way, he's made a lasting impact on his players. His title is basketball coach, but to his players, Lute Olson has been much more. A mentor and a father figure who has helped shape lives.
When you come into his program, a lot of people come in, as boys, immature kids, and, he shows you and gives you the tools to succeed, not only in basketball, but also in the real world.
He's meant more to me than anybody but my parents in my life, and he's responsible for what I've been able to accomplish in my life, and he's been an unbelievable role model for me.
In his 29 years of college coaching, Lute has compiled a remarkable record with 767 wins, 7th among active Division I coaches.
I think it's been fun to grow with him. I mean, I think when we all got to Iowa in '74, we had a young staff. Lute was brand new, and I think it's been interesting to see all of this grow and explode to where now we're probably talking about one of the 3 or 4 or 5 best maybe that's ever coached.
And the Iowa Hawkeyes head to Market Square Arena, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Olson has led his teams at Iowa and Arizona to 5 Final Fours. But for all his success, the one achievement that eluded him was an NCAA title until 1997.
Lute Olson, he's won a world championship. Now he's looking for a national championship.
There's that team quickness again.
Bibby open 3 in Arizona. It's a milestone victory for Arizona.
Simon says championship.
Final icing on his cake was winning the national title. It kind of solidified him in the minds of a lot of people as being just a great coach, and that year was about as improbable as any that we could have had to win it.
The most amazing run this tournament has ever seen. In 11 days, they beat the 3 winningest programs in the history of college basketball.
Times couldn't have been better for Olson, but just 1 year later, his wife Bobby was diagnosed with cancer, and she died in 2001. Yet, even amid the heartbreak, Lute still set an example for his players.
The fact that he was so tough really gave us a lot of respect for the man. Also, to see how his family came together and really helped him, shows you how you want your family to be. When I get older and have my family, I see the type of family I want to have, and that's just some more things that you learn from him.
After she passed away, I think it was probably very good for his soul to get back with the kids and have something to occupy his time. But that time to me was even more special and says more about the guy than afterwards.
Finding an escape in basketball, Lute came back to guide his Wildcats to another successful season.
To win their 9th Pac-10 championship with a brilliant win over the #2 team in the nation, the Stanford Cardinal.
If I had a son, there's probably about 3 coaches in college basketball that I would let him play for. Definitely Coach Olson would be the #1. Then Coach Olson would probably be #2, and then after that, I'd probably find somebody else.
The amazing thing about Coach is just how many people he's touched and affected in his career. All those people who he's affected, and to think what they've gone on to do in their lives, and he's had a direct relation to that. That's one of the great things about playing for him.
Introducing Lute Olson is his sponsor, another Hall of Famer who was one of the game's greatest coaches, Pete Newell.
I'm very honored to be able to present Lute Olson to the Hall of Fame. Lute has been one of our, in the history of college basketball, been one of our top coaches. It didn't come easy for Lute. He coached at the high school level for 11 years, had a wonderful record, and was given the appointment at Long Beach City College to coach at the JC in California. And in 3 years, he won the 3 state championships, and he was the coach of the year in those 3 years. And then he won 1 year to Long Beach State. Long Beach State, he coached 1 year and had a record of 24-2. He was then brought to Iowa. Iowa recognized the talent that Lute had and brought him there to revive their program. The first year he was there, he won 7 games. The second year he won 19. And that is really the pattern of Lute as a coach. He took a lot of challenges, and he took programs that were down, and he built them up. At Iowa, in 9 years, the last 5 years, he took them to the NCAA tournament and to one Final Four. They hadn't been to a Final Four since 1956. And Lute brought Iowa right up to the top level of the Big Ten. When he left Iowa, he'd won 22 games. So he left a really good program and took over the program at Arizona. Arizona's a tough state for basketball. And the first year there, he won 11 games. The second year, he won 21. Now, in 24 years of coaching at Iowa and at Arizona, 23 of those years, he was in the NCAA. That's a remarkable record. 5 times, he took teams to the Final Four. And just taking one team to the Final Four is something that every coach aspires to. He compiled a record that in the Pac-10 conference that has only been equaled by passed by John Wooden, and we know what a great record he had. But Lute always was taking the challenge, and he built up the last 17 years. He took Arizona to the NCAA tournament, and few coaches have done that. Few coaches have taken 2 different schools to the Final Four. Lute did that. But the thing I most admire about Lute was he was a giving coach, and giving in this sense. For many years, he took teams overseas for all-star teams to learn how to compete at the international level, to learn the international game. And he really qualified himself, like other coaches had tried to do, to become the Olympic coach. And in 1984, he took a team to Taiwan, and he won an Asian championship over there called the Jones Cup, a very, very highly thought of tournament. And he took an American team over there and won. 4 years later, he was the first college coach, and I think the first coach that was able to win the World Games. And he played against a Russian team that was the greatest Russian team that they've ever had. And it was great because they were able to use Lithuanian, Estonian, Latvian players, also the Balkan country players that are all individual great teams today. And they had the cream of all that talent. And Lute took these young college kids over there, and he beat them in this tournament. And another testimony to how great a coach he was. And I was on the Olympic Committee at that particular time, and he was one of the top candidates to be the 1992 Olympic coach. Then we changed the format, and suddenly they figured that college coaches couldn't coach professionals. I don't know how those professionals ever got there without going through the college coaches at that time. So he was denied something that his record really deserved. And I'm really proud and honored to be the one to introduce him. And now, Lute can't be here. He's in Italy, and his son is being married, and all the proceedings, all the planning, unfortunately conflicted with this. But we're going to get a message now from Lute, and let's all take a look at it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wow, Coach Newell has been one of my heroes for many years. I had the privilege of watching Coach's great teams at the University of California, including the 1959 NCAA championship team. I even hired one of his players from that team, Wally Torkells, as an assistant at Marina High School in Huntington Beach and then at Long Beach City College. That allowed me to steal even more defensive information from you, Coach. That has been a big part of our defensive philosophy for many years. I've had an opportunity to get to know Coach Newell personally over the last 30 years. He's been a special friend. I valued his willingness to share his expertise whenever it's been requested. Coach, you're the best. Coaching has never been a job to me. It's always been a labor of love. I'm going to recognize some groups, but I know the individuals will know who they are and how important they have been in my life. Firstly, to my high school coaches, Fritz Engel and Harold Poyer, who are no longer with us, thanks for your guidance and support. To Ernie Anderson and Edor Nelson, my college coaches, thanks for your patience in seeing me through to my degree. Secondly, to all my players from 12 years of coaching in high schools in Minnesota and California, I say thank you for helping a young coach grow up. To my players from 4 great years at Long Beach City College, I say thank you for your successes, which accorded me an opportunity to move on to the Division I level. To my players for my 1 year at Long Beach State, my 9 years at Iowa, and now starting my 20th year at Arizona, I say thanks for putting up with my idiosyncrasies. By the way, for those of you in the audience who may be struggling with your math right now, that adds up to 46 years of coaching. To all of you players, I say thank you for all you've done for my family and for me. I want to thank you for teaching me far more than I could ever teach you. Thirdly, I want to thank all my assistant coaches and the support staffs whose dedication, loyalty, and hard work made it possible for our programs to succeed. Once I got to the college level, they helped recruit players who were good people with an intense desire to succeed. We followed a very basic concept, regardless of whether one is in athletics, business, or any kind of work. Good people will find a way to be successful. We have always recruited good people. 2 very special thank yous go to Lydia Birch and Jim Rosborough. Lydia has been my secretary for nearly all of my years at Arizona. Her effort and faithfulness always goes beyond my expectations. Thank you, Lydia. Jim is my associate head coach. He was with me for 9 years at Iowa and for the last 14 years at Arizona. He has been one of the main reasons why the Iowa and Arizona programs have been successful. Jim, I especially appreciate your friendship and companionship over those 23 years. Fourthly, I want to thank the 5 athletic directors for whom I've worked during my 34 years at the college level. To Del Walker at Long Beach City College, who gave me my big break, allowing me an opportunity to move from high school coaching to the college level, I'm especially grateful knowing that Del put his own job on the line to insist that I should be his coach, or the administration could look for both an athletic director and a basketball coach. To Lou Comer at Long Beach State, thank you for giving me my first opportunity at the Division I level. To Bump Elliott at the University of Iowa, who had to put up with the Lute who responses after he hired me, thank you for your courage. To Cedric Dempsey, who had faith in my ability to turn the Arizona program around, thank you, Cedric, for that faith. To my current boss and special friend, Jim Livengood, you didn't have any choice, Jim, but I'm happy it's worked out for both of us. I've obviously saved the best for last, and that is to thank my family. I've been blessed with unconditional love and support from our 5 children. Vicki, Jody, Christy, Greg, and Steve have been with me through thick and thin. Whether there were big wins or disheartening losses, they were there lending their support and encouragement. And most of the time, as a matter of fact, they even felt that I knew what I was doing. The same love and support has come from the 13 grandchildren as well. They range in age from the 20s to Bobby, the youngest, who is 3. Thank you, kids, for thinking that Papa, as they call me, is okay. Now the most difficult thank you, and I hope you'll bear with me on this one. To Bobby, my wife of 47 years, she is truly the Hall of Famer in our family. I married Bobby when she was 18, before she was old enough to know what she was getting into. Like she loved saying, I chased her until she couldn't run anymore, and she finally agreed to marry me. She worked to put me through school and worked very, very hard since my scholarship only covered tuition. In addition, Vicki was born while I was still in college. Bobby was the real head coach, the #1 recruiter, and the team mom. Every player who has ever played for me knows these things to be true. Bobby was my inspiration, my #1 supporter, my true love, and my very best friend. She was truly the wind beneath my wings. I know she's looking down on this very special occasion, and I also know that she's loving every minute of it. On behalf of my players, my assistants, our fans, and our family. Thank you very much for this honor.
There'll be another emotional moment. The late Drazen Petrovic